Coming up on today's episode of DLLS Mavs, the GOAT, Dirk Nowitzki, joins us. Plus, we preview Luka Doncic's season. All this and more on a historic episode of DLLS Mavs. Here we go. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks insider Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella, and of course, our National and Mavericks NBA insider, Mark Stein. We are DLLS Mavs. You can find me on X at Kevin Gray Sports, at Tim_Cato, at Bobby Carella, and you can always dial up the Stein line at the Stein line. A historic episode of DLLS Mavs today at 12:30. The GOAT, Dirk Nowitzki, is going to be joining us on the show today, so you don't want to miss that. And also, we're going to be previewing Luka Doncic's upcoming season, what could be a historic season for him after the Mavericks made the NBA Finals. But before we get to any of that, gentlemen, happy Wednesday. How are we feeling today?
I'm great. I'm fantastic.
Yeah?
I will say I got made fun of on a recent show by the only Mark Stein for not watching a video in advance. I haven't seen the video of who's this guy that we're talking to? Dirk Nowitzki, is that the name? I didn't do any prep, and so I'm gonna have to figure it out on the fly.
Yeah, I think you'll cope just fine.
I think you'll be just fine today for sure. Bobby, what's going on, man?
Oh, I'm feeling good, Kevin. I'm feeling good. Shout out to my guy Isaac Harris reuniting with Locked On Mavs. With Nick and Slightly Biased over there, and Dana, and with Reggie gone, there was an opportunity for Isaac to get back in. My former colleague and my still real life friend, and I brought my brass knuckles to work. Tim, I saw your Triton, so we're ready to brawl with those guys to find out who the best podcast is.
Let's do it. I think we got a leg up because we got our guy Mark Stein joining us 4 times a week when it comes to everything on DLLS Mavs. Mark, what's going on?
And we're in the room where I can see the screen.
You can see the screen very well. You'll be okay today.
That I still don't have glasses or contacts, but in this studio, I can read most of the comments, which is nice.
Shout out to Katya in the chat as well. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports on YouTube. The best way you can help us grow is hit that like button, jump in the chat, and of course, again at 12:30 today, Dirk Nowitzki is going to be joining us here on the show.
When is our Stockholm episode with Patrick in Sweden? I want to go.
You're gonna be there like nearby pretty soon.
You might have to go pay him a personal visit since you're going to be overseas here soon.
I want to do an episode there.
Live from Sweden?
Yes.
Okay, we'll have to make that happen. Technology has made the world smaller, so we can make that happen, I'm sure. Speaking of making the world smaller, the world descended upon Dallas for the NBA Finals because Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving and this team made it to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2011 when, of course, they won the NBA championship. Today, gentlemen, other than obviously Dirk Nowitzki, it's the Luka Doncic show as we preview his upcoming season. A historic one for Doncic, of course, winning the scoring title last year. 5-time first-team All-NBA selection. His 5th straight year making first-team All-NBA. Bobby, talk to me about the statistical profile of Luka Doncic, who is arguably the best player in the NBA right now, and what we can look forward to based off of what he did last year.
All of these numbers are real. None of them are fake. He averaged 33.9 points per game, 9.2 rebounds, 9.8 assists, 1.4 steals. That's career highs in everything across the board.
49% free throw percentage, too.
Career high free throw percentage is going to make everybody excited, but also career high 3-point percentage, career high effective field goal percentage. Basically, he was very good. I think that we can all agree on that one. And he does have 2 guaranteed years left in his contract at about $88 million before he can sign approximately 5-year, $100 billion contract starting next summer. So I don't know how much he has left to prove.
Is that the exact math?
No, not KG money at all. Trust me, I would let y'all hold something if I had that kind of money for sure.
I don't know what he's got left to prove, but I know we can sing his praises all day. There are things he can improve on,
which is frightening.
But I think Luka has arrived, folks.
Well, let's talk about things that he did improve on last season and whether it's going to be duplicated just starting with the three-point shooting. He was the second most prolific three-point shot maker behind Stephen Curry. He had the most attempts, the most makes, behind only the greatest shooter that's ever played the sport. What was the change for that? Is that real? Is that going to continue? Is he still going to be that good? And we saw a little bit of a dip in the postseason, and that is something that he can improve on. But in the regular season, like, are we still expecting this to carry right on over?
I mean, look, you guys already guaranteed yesterday he's going to win the scoring title again.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, you heard it here first on DLLS Mavs for sure.
He's going to be a top 1, 2, 3 favorite to win the MVP. I mean, obviously, the only things missing at this point, MVP and championship. He's going to be an annual MVP contender. We'll see if the Mavs can continue to make progress from where they were last year. Basically, I mean, winning the West was a massive achievement. Obviously, the finals were really lopsided, so that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. But I mean, look, I think I said it on, I can't remember what show it was. One of the first shows I was on, and it's like, this is everyone loves to worry about Luka, but he is the last element of the Dallas Mavericks that I would worry about. I think management feels the same way, and after the Goran Dragic game in Slovenia that I was lucky enough to be at, I knew he was going to start ramping it up to get ready for training camp at the end of the month. Everything I've heard is that's what's going on. I think we've seen some pictures leak out of him working out with a second division team in Slovenia that his father is part of the administration of. So, you know, he's since the Dragic game, he's starting to get serious. We're still, today, you know, we got 19, 20 days until practices start. I think you're going to see a very focused, very determined, very motivated number 77.
It's interesting because you brought that, because one of the things I hope to ask Dirk when we talk to him a little later on is the approach that Luka has taken this offseason going into this upcoming year. Of course, Dirk coming off that finals loss in 06, coming into that next year, of course, won the NBA's MVP. I wonder what that approach is for a player coming off that finals appearance and how Luka's been approaching that offseason and how much more motivation he has based off all the things he achieved last year.
I think it was different for Dirk because 06 was torture. I mean, the 2-0 lead, the way it unraveled, you know, that was, I mean, I will never forget that night. That I'm a very slow writer. I was writing forever after that game, and Dirk Nowitzki, surrounded by several of his closest friends in the organization, was still in the arena, well into the morning. Just how crushing the 06 finals played out, and just what a mark it left on them, and then what happened in 07 as well. You know, the Mavs weren't in last season's finals. I mean, you can't call that a heartbreaker because I mean they went down 3-0. I mean, it wasn't the competitive series. It wasn't anything like 06 in terms of competitiveness as a finals, but you know, everybody who knows Luka a lot better than me, he does not like to lose.
Yeah.
So as great of a run as it was, and none of us geniuses said the Mavs were going to win the West. None of us had the Mavs winning the West as a team that didn't have home court advantage in a single series. But I would imagine he took the loss very hard and doesn't want to hear about getting to the finals. He wants to win the finals. So, I mean, he will show up, I think, with ample fury because of the way that went down.
With fury.
Which will be devastating for the
kind of
rest
how
of the
I
league.
show up with, when I got to sit next to Cato. Ample fury.
Ample fury for
every
It is
show.
written in your deal that I have
This
to
is
sit
why
in
we're
between
separated.
roles.
Exactly. Bob is separated.
It was
No.
100% written into the
Your
deal.
fury is only directed at Ben when he wears Chelsea gear.
Oh, that's true.
I
Or
was,
when we talk
yes,
about United.
I was
At least I'm
actually
not
a
doing
lot
that.
madder about that.
Yeah.
You notice the GM's not showing his
He's not showing it up today.
his face today in the studio.
I'm a harmless fan of a team that doesn't win. Certainly not against City. So there's no reason to be upset. Have fury at me.
Luka has gotten better at things on the court every year of his career.
Yeah.
Like last year, I just read all his numbers were career highs, like Tim was talking about, number 2 in the NBA in 3 points made behind only Steph. And I think after the All-Star break in the 21-22 season, Luka might have been your league leader in 3 points made. So, I mean, he's been a big-time shooter for a while now. I think his biggest projected improvement this year, hopefully, is the just on the defensive end of the floor generally. He locked in so.
And for most of the year, he was a top 10 steals guy per game.
Yeah. But I mean, especially after the deadline and after the Mavs had that team meeting on March 5th, after they got, kind of tossed around by the Pacers, Luka really dialed it in and locked in on defense in a way that I haven't seen him do before. And that carried out throughout most of the playoff run, especially whenever his body would allow him to. But kind of the idea of bringing in Klay, again, we've talked about this before, like they wanted guys that can help make the regular season easier for Luka and Kyrie. And the ultimate goal is that Luka doesn't have to put 99% of his mental and physical energy into offense. He doesn't have to solve 25 problems down the floor every single time because you got an all-star in Kyrie next to you. You got a Hall of Famer in Klay that's going to be running around, bombing open threes, and then you got two bigs that he can just throw the ball up to, and they can dunk it home every time PJ Washington bring it up the floor. So hopefully the big improvement for him this year, whether or not he wins a scoring title, whether or not he wins the assist crown, whatever.
You're kind of making the argument that he shouldn't be the scoring leader, that maybe that
if he's going to be shooting
40% on 10 threes or 11 threes a game, you're going to get there on accident.
Yeah,
true. So I think it's more just the repetitive grinding and throwing yourself into 5 people in the lane. With more space, with more shooting, there should be more gaps for him to attack, more space around the rim to finish, so less physical punishment, which means you can dial it in on defense a little more. I think that's like a very intangible thing.
Do we expect a little bit less of a usage rate for him, or is he going to always be consistently one of the top 2 or 3 guys in terms of usage rate every single year, even with some of the additions now that they made in terms of, especially with Klay Thompson this upcoming season?
He's going to get all the assists. He's going to get all the assists.
I think his usage is still going to be right at the top of the league. I don't think that's going to change.
I think one of the questions when we get a chance to speak to Jason Kidd for the first time, whether that's media day or, I'm not sure exactly when, maybe you guys will see him this weekend at Dirk's tennis event. Last year there was such an emphasis on playing faster. Remember, Jason Kidd went to Luka Doncic in the offseason and said, we need to play faster. What do you think? Let's speed this thing up. Will the Mavs try to do that again? Will they make that pace an emphasis? I remember Mr. Cato said the other day he thought that the Mavs pace would drop slightly this season compared to last season. So I genuinely don't know where they want to go with that. So I think that strategically that's something we need to ask the coach and get some clarity on what they want to do.
One of the things that has been brought up in the chat a little bit, and we'll get more into Luka in terms of his MVP chances coming up in the next segment, but also not just the play in terms of what he does on the floor, but obviously the way that he handles himself on the floor as well when it comes to his disposition with the referees, how he's handling things when they don't necessarily go their way. Is that something that, based on what he's to continue to do, still needs to improve on, based on what we know about him and how competitive he is every single night on the floor?
In 22-23, the Mavs were, I think, either number 1 or number 2 in technical fouls committed. Now, that includes unsportsmanlike tech fouls, but then also illegal defense and stuff like that. Last year, dropped a little bit. Kyrie doesn't pick up a lot of T's. There are other guys on the team. Once they traded, Grant Williams was picking up techs, but, I
was just thinking that.
Yeah, he wasn't around. I think Lively might have picked up 1 or 2. PJ Washington picked up 1 or 2. So for the most part, everyone else has it under control. If he needs to pick up a tech every now and then to prove a point or get off frustration or whatever, that's fine. But what you don't want to do is it be like March 4th and he has 2 techs left the rest of the year before suspension.
Yeah.
Use them wisely.
I have always I feel like this doesn't excuse all of his techs, but a lot of them come from his own frustrations at himself when he's not physically right, when he's not
starts a game 3 for 11.
Yeah, and a lot of that is stuff that is solvable if he has the consistency, the physical consistency all season that we keep wanting to see from him, rather than a mid-season slump where he's not quite in shape or just needs to physically recover. And so I think it's a holistic sort of thing that will improve as other parts of his game improves. Certainly we saw him flip switches during the postseason several times. We know that he's capable of doing that. Just seeing it consistently, that is an area to improve, but it's one that we know he's capable of.
Coming up here in just a moment, what are Luka Doncic's MVP chances, and what else does he have to continue to improve on going into this upcoming season? And don't forget, at 12:30, Dirk Nowitzki is going to be joining us here on DLLS Mavs. So make sure you stick around for that. Make sure you hit the like button on this video as well.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends to jump in, because because, of course, the GOAT joining us at 12:30. But before we get there, let me talk to you a little bit about Sleeper. I got some ball knowers on set with me, but I'm calling out you as a ball knower as well. The Sleeper app that you know for hosting the best fantasy football leagues in the game now allows you to put your knowledge to the test in every game by picking whether your favorite or least favorite players will have more or less than their projected stats each week. Cowboys taking on the Saints at AT&T Stadium on Sunday. I'm taking Dak Prescott to have more than his projected 250 passing yards. I'm taking CeeDee Lamb to have more than his 75 receiving yards against the Saints to help the Cowboys move to 2-0. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. And of course, Sleeper keeps you in the loop with instant alerts for breaking news and major injuries. Stay ahead of the game and keep track and league updates in real time so you're always informed and ready to outsmart your friends. If you think you have what it takes, because I know I do, download the Sleeper app and use the code DLLS Mavs to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
Guys, they're letting me talk about floors again.
Oh my God.
There's Tim with floors.
There's a misconception.
Empire done messed up.
No, people think that I love all floors, and I do like a lot of floors.
Taylor's got his drop for today. There it is.
I specifically like Empire Today and their flooring, where you
You can do it, Tim. I have faith in you. You can do it.
where you get to shop at home convenience, the right products for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee.
That's right, Mark. Yes.
Empire is much more professional than Tim.
Empire Today.
Jeez.
Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring, so of course they have copycats, but Empire can't be beaten on quality, service, speed. So competitors advertise low quality products naturally that Empire simply won't carry. But Empire won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they would not put in theirs. You can even check out their virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DLLS. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DLLS for details.
Appreciate you, Tim. Way to get through the read. You did just fine there. A little assist there from your guy, Bobby, there. Coming
great.
up
It was
in
great.
13 minutes to go, Dirk Nowitzki going to be joining us here on DLLS Mavs. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit more about Luka Doncic. We got into his season preview, but now let's talk about, fellas, what he still has to improve on and what his MVP chances are this upcoming year. Arguably the favorite to win the league's MVP, will be a perennial candidate every single year. But Bobby, I'll start with you. What do you want to see Luka continue to improve on going into this upcoming season?
More dunks.
Oh, you want to see him
Dunk
finish at the rim
ball.
with little dunks
I think,
more,
he
huh?
dunked it twice last season,
Okay.
I think.
I have it right up twice. It was the lowest in his career. His rookie year, 25 dunks.
Unacceptable. I just went through a whole list of career highs that he established last season, but career low in dunks.
Did you say he had 25 dunks in his rookie year?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a bouncy boy.
I honestly
yeah.
do not remember that.
2 dunks is pathetic.
25 dunks? Which
All right.
one? You don't remember the
Yeah,
two
the
dunks?
25 dunks as a rookie. I can't picture that.
I actually recently saw a supercut of all the dunks from his rookie year. It was a lot of. There's a few pretty impressive ones. I know the one that always sticks out to me is against
Big
Denver.
game in Denver, yeah.
Yeah, there was a big
That's
game in
at
Denver
altitude,
that
though,
I
so you
believe
gotta
it
take
tied
that
it.
into consideration.
It's at altitude. I wonder if that.
Altitude with an
Yeah.
attitude.
Oh, I like that. That might be a t-shirt. You can put
But
that
yeah,
on
I
a
mean,
t-shirt.
he's driving to the rim less, just in general. That's also a thing to point out. He is no longer. I mean, it was, let's see, his second year in the league, 26% of his shots were within 3 feet of the rim. You know, he was just getting there like automatic, like a monster. Like
That is the benefit of having KP at the 5, or I mean,
That's very
especially
true.
once
Yeah.
Dwight went down, they just went pure 5 out. It was unbelievable floor
last
spacing.
season, it was a career low. Just 12.3% of his shots came directly finishing at the rim. Obviously, he takes a lot more kind of in the 3 to 10 foot range. He uses the mid range at times, taking just way more threes as a kind of volume of his shots. But I don't know. I don't think him having a career low at the rim is bad. It would be better if it ticked up a little bit naturally.
More dunks.
Just because of the spacing, just because it's, he is physically, feeling great and able to get to the rim. But I don't think we're ever going to see sophomore year Luka come back. And clearly he's evolved past that. He doesn't need to be, living, renting room an apartment, under the rim.
Yeah, I mean,
He
the
can do his work.
counterpoint to him finishing less
Yeah.
or finishing more at the rim in 2019-20 is he shot like 32% from three that year or something.
Is a 30, 10, and 10 ever on the table? Or maybe it's 28, 10, and 10. Can
Oh,
he get
yeah.
Can he get to 10 and 10?
Absolutely,
My hot take for Luka this year is that he's going to average a full triple-double this season.
Is the defense going to be good enough to force enough misses for him to get to 10?
You're going to miss 23s a game as a matter of course.
Well, I guess here's the other question. What's easier, to get to 10 rebounds or 10 assists a game? 10 assists, right?
10
Probably
assists is
assists,
way
yeah.
easier for him, yeah.
Because
Because
what was he? You said
He was
30?
at 9.8 rebounds per game last season.
no, he's at 9.2. He was at 9.8 assists.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I had that
Oh
wrong.
my goodness.
Wow, I got something
And
wrong.
you got
Bobby got something. Alert!
So it was
Bobby got a
30
statistic
it was
with
wrong.
Stein sitting next
it
to
was
him.
basically-
Oh my
basically-
gosh!
I'm sorry.
It was basically.
I'm sorry.
It was so it's basically 34, 9, and 9, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Not bad, right?
34, 10, and 9.
I like how
Yeah,
Mark
34,
just like
9,
shakes his head. He's like,
34,
"Are you
9,
kidding
and
me?"
10. Really, I mean, 9, 8 assists is 10.
It's
Mark,
10. Yeah.
Mark, you covered Kobe in his early career alongside Shaq before they won titles. You've covered the Warriors, like you said, extensively as they were starting to take off. Is there really truth to the thing of like every superstar player going back to MJ and beyond? Like there's this trajectory of like you got to get closer and closer and lose before you can finally win. Is that a real thing?
I don't think the Warriors did really. I mean, they did.
I would agree with
You know,
that.
they had what was it, a second round run the year before, but like. My luck on that was so like I can't knock this wood enough. Basically, what happened was I went to the World Championships in 2014 with Team USA, and Steph and Clay were on that team, and that was the LeBron going back to Cleveland summer,
yeah.
and that really, if you want to go inside our professional bit a little bit, that changed the whole way ESPN covered the NBA. Like all of a sudden, the newspaper people, they wanted to have us on TV more after LeBron did that. And I can't really explain why, but that's just how it went. I went to Spain that summer with Steph and Clay being on Team USA. That next season, without warning, the Warriors went on a crazy December winning streak. 13, 14, 15. Nobody saw it coming. It was the NFL season. All of ESPN's frontline TV people were on NFL, and they suddenly were like, "God, we got to send someone for SportsCenter to cover the Warriors. This Warriors team is crazy." And so that's kind of how I ended up on the Warrior beat. And I just tell that story to say nobody saw that team coming. Nobody, the Warriors were not like a universal favorite to win in 2014-15, and that year. It was the David Lee injury in training camp. Draymond Green moved in the starting lineup. Steve Kerr's the new coach. Steph and Clay go to a new level, and boom, a 5 straight trips to the finals run is born. So I would say that team didn't really have tons of playoff heartache before they went on their run. But the Lakers, by contrast, I mean, Kobe and the Lakers, there were the air balls,
against Utah,
multiple sweeps in the playoffs. The Mavs obviously endured ridiculous heartbreak until they finally won one. So
There just is that truism of like you got to lose before you win.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if Luke is like past that now.
I think it is true more than it's not. But I would just say the Warriors don't fall in that category.
It might be more correlation than causation. It might just be that the linear, ascension of a very good team usually involves some losses.
Yeah,
along
going
the
through
way.
those times, yeah.
It's not that the losses are
Boston
required.
Boston sure had a lot
Yeah,
of it.
for
So,
sure.
they
through.
came so close so many times.
Yeah, exactly.
It was funny because I thought about when Luka was making, the run to the finals. Every superstar had their team nemesis, if you will. Michael Jordan had the bad boys in terms of the Detroit Pistons. Luka, in a lot of ways, the Clippers were that team for him, where it felt like if once he got past them, you could see a potential finals run for his team. And it just felt like every single superstar has that one team or one player that is their nemesis, that once they eventually make that breakthrough, the sky is kind of the limit for that particular player in that way. But, Luka made that run, and now they have a chance to make a huge run going into this upcoming year. Luka wins MVP, top 3, top 2. Where are we at with Luka in terms of his MVP?
Win. Screw it. He'll win it.
He wins the MVP this year? Tim?
I think it's pretty likely. I don't know. I mean, I think all the narratives have shapen up in the right way, and I know we did a whole episode about this, and we don't need to backtrack too much.
Sure.
But how with Shea finishing second and with the Thunder being very good, do you think Dallas has to be like let's say they're the second seed and 5 wins behind the Thunder.
This is just my instinct. I am no longer an official voter. I'm now
Did
just
I take yours?
Huh?
Did I take yours?
That explains the tension.
I surrendered mine.
We finally got to the bottom of it.
No. I don't. No, I don't. I've been invited back, but I basically when I went to the New York Times, they weren't allowed to do it. That we weren't allowed to do it there, and so when I left the New York Times, I could have gone back, but I actually liked not voting. I write about it like I always have, but I actually like not voting and just being an observer of it. From an observer's seat, I do wonder if the fact that Oklahoma City's roster has been strengthened so much and that the Thunder are such a favorite to win the West #1 seed, that could work against SGA's MVP case.
Sure.
I think that actually helps Luka to a degree. So if the Mavs can finish top 3 in the West, I think the greater obstacle for him might be the top of the East. The top of the East is a lot better. And so let's say we get a surprise where the Knicks or the Sixers win the East's #1 seed over Boston. That's gonna help
maybe.
a Brunson, or does that help Embiid again? Does Embiid play 65 games? So I think, and what if Milwaukee? A lot of people are. I mean, you said it yesterday that you're down on the Bucks.
Low.
If the Bucks have a big season, that's going to help Giannis. So I actually think what happens at the top of the East might influence the MVP race as much as anything.
Should be very interesting.
We got them whispering. So
I know. I was making sure everything was all good. But
We're conspiring.
But the MVP race is going to be a heated one. Luka Doncic is one of the favorites to win the MVP this year. Coming up in 4 minutes, the moment you've been waiting for. Dirk Nowitzki going to be joining us on the show. He's got a Tennis Classic Foundation he's going to be participating in this upcoming weekend and talk about all things that here in just a few months. But before we get there, Bobby, talk to me a little about FOCO.
FOCO. You can get fitted out in the best sports gear around. They got hoodies, they got shoes, they got signs, they got bobbleheads and everything in between. I even heard Sam Nestler on the Star Show talking about how they have Snuggies. Now, I've never worn a Snuggie, but I would absolutely try on a Snuggie from FOCO just to see maybe it's really comfortable.
I want to see that just myself. See what happens there.
I'm more of a Bobon big blanket guy myself.
Maybe they have those at FOCO.
I bet they do. I bet
There's
they
only
will.
one way to find out, though, and that's to go to FOCO's site. But whether it's jackets, beachwear, or even overalls, there's something for fans of almost every occasion for almost every single team. So you're going to a basketball game, going to a Mavs game, going to a Stars game, going to a Cowboys game, doesn't matter. Put on some gear, represent your team, make some noise. Go to make some noise. I'm quoting Chris Arnold because it's the Mavs and
That's
the Spurs.
right.
It's on.
It's on.
You want to check out
Shout out to
FOCO.com or click the link in our description below. For all non-pre-sale items, use the promo code DLLS10, DLLS10 for 10% off on FOCO.com today.
That made me realize that you're not going to be doing little pregame interviews with Chris Arnold anymore.
End of an era,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That-
Why could you keep
Yeah.
doing? You
Sad
could
to
keep
me.
doing those.
I don't work for the team. I'm a fearsome independent reporter now.
Here's why you should become a diehard. Because we're posting articles behind, we're starting to throw it behind the diehard. For example, I published where the Mavericks rank in the Western Conference, projecting all 15 teams.
Spoiler alert, very low. Tweet at Tim with all your hatred.
Oh, wow.
No, very high. Very low
okay.
because I went in reverse order. So you
Ah,
are
okay.
correct.
Okay,
But we've got the
okay.
Watch Out For Us in 2029 tier featuring Portland and Utah. We've got What Do You Mean 2029 tier with the Clippers, Warriors, and Lakers. Maybe a little bit low, but that's just what my heart said. And so we're going to be writing all sorts of stuff all throughout the season. Me and Bobby, and I know Bobby's got an article coming later this week. I know we're not in full swing of the season. We're going to leave some of these unlocked. You can take a look, see if it's your palate, but it should be because we're both smart people and we like writing about basketball. So
And more importantly, we like following our heart.
go to alldlls.com/diehard for all the information you need to know about all of that. And come support us.
Make sure you hit the like button on this video. Make sure you comment and subscribe to DLLS Sports here on YouTube. Coming up here in just a matter of moments. Dirk Nowitzki, the GOAT, going to be joining us here on DLLS Mavs. Make sure you go to alldlls.com/diehard. Become a diehard member today. Check out all the fantastic content. Also become a member with a physical diehard card that you'll get as well on alldlls.com/diehard. Dirk Nowitzki going to be joining us here. We'll be looking forward to talking with Dirk about here coming up here in just a moment.
Well, he's got some event going on this weekend that I need more details about, so I'm hoping that he can share some of that with us.
The Nowitzki Tennis Classic.
That's right.
At T-Bar M, moving to his home court. That's where he lives there. So he moved it to get home court advantage. Clearly.
Okay, that
did see
feels
that
like
it
unfair,
changed,
kind of.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it is unfair.
feels pretty unfair.
But with his mobility, he might need the extra help.
That's only fair.
Hope he didn't hear that.
And of course, we might get a scouting report on Mark Stein's tennis game.
Mark
from
Stein
Dirk,
has
man.
no tennis game.
I'm gonna start digging.
I'm a
We're gonna
tennis.
find out.
I'm a
See
tennis.
what
I'm a
is
tennis groupie at this point. I just watch. I can't.
just hang out just
I
near
can't-
the court?
and I won't even be there this weekend. I'm letting him down.
I will be there.
They
I'm
rolled
letting him
out
down.
they rolled out more names on the guest list. Can I include the ones that Scooter told us?
Yeah, go for it. Tell him.
So Dirk announced yesterday on the Ben and Skin show that Klay Thompson's going to be playing. You might
right.
have heard of him on Mark Stein's old team, the Warriors, and Mark Stein's current team, the Mavs. How about that? Clay's just following you around.
I cannot wait. I don't know what kind of tennis background Clay has, so I'm eager to get the reports from our team on the. I think we're sending like 3 reporters to this thing, so I'm eager to hear what Clay looks like.
Yeah,
on
we
the
got
tennis
to
court.
get a scouting report from Dirk ahead of time.
What
too, here in a
racket
second.
you play with, Stein?
Yeah, say Robbie asked you what racket do you play with?
I don't even play anymore. I'm retired.
no.
I'm just a fan.
Were you a Wilson racket guy when you did play?
There was a period of Wilson, Technifiber, Babolat, and the racket was not the problem.
the backhand and the forehand, that wasn't.
Moving
was the problem.
I am much more at pickleball speed at this point. Lot smaller court.
Oh.
We also got longtime women's prolific player Coco Vandeweghe, and then how about this? Dr. Phil is going to be at at the Dirk Nowitzki Tennis Classic. So
I guess he and Dirk occasionally cross paths on the tennis court. I heard that on the radio. I did
is
not.
he a Dallas local?
I guess. I didn't
What do you know
that
about
either.
Dr.
I had
Phil,
no
Tim?
idea.
My
Dr.
Dr.
Phil was
Phil,
a
my
Dallas
Dr.
Big
Phil
Dr. Phil
knowledge
guy?
is limited.
Wow.
I'm not, but I won't elaborate. Do you think that my ping pong skills would translate
to either pickleball or tennis?
I've never played tennis, and I feel like I've always thought like maybe I'm just a natural, and I can believe that until I step on the court for the very first time, which I still have not done.
Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
You're right-handed. I'm a lefty, so I might have a little slice on mine.
You're a lefty?
I am a lefty.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I
shout
don't know
out
why
to us.
I got so surprised.
I know, right? Did you not like the fact that I was a lefty?
You don't look like a
Kevin's
lefty.
left-handed. That's
Wow.
right. I think Stein, you're left-handed too, aren't you?
I am lefty.
Shout out
Yes.
to the lefties.
Yes.
We got a lot of slice on our backhands and forehands. that kind of
What
thing.
are the odds? 2 southpaws on 4-man show.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you guys?
Makes a little bit more sense for Kevin since he's on the outside. Do you
Yeah,
keep
you're like
bumping
inside hand.
Do you keep
that's tough.
bumping elbows
so
with?
real quick, as a lefty, I have to sit on the
We're
outside.
getting related updates right now. Mark Stein's about to break some news.
No. Just
Don't scare the people like that, Bobby.
Just connecting with our guests.
Don't scare the people like that.
It's not scary. It's a good thing. It's good news.
By the way, as a lefty, I always have to sit on the outside of the dinner table because I don't want to like bump into like other people when I start.
Should I unmute the television?
Yeah.
All right, I'm unmuting the television.
All right.
Let's go underwater and welcome
Our
Dirk
first,
Nowitzki.
our first guest ever, right? In
That's
show
right.
history.
Live here on DLLS.
Oh, there he is.
There he is. He's a 14-time All-Star, 2007 NBA MVP, 2011 NBA champion, of course, Finals MVP, and a member of the NBA 75th anniversary team and Basketball Hall of Famer class of 2023. 21 seasons with the Dallas Mavericks. He is the GOAT. Dirk Nowitzki joining us here on DLLS Mavs. Dirk, what's going on?
How's it going, guys?
Doing
Fantastic.
well. Doing well. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Obviously, a big weekend for you with the 6th annual Dirk Nowitzki Foundation Tennis Classic presented by Chime coming up on Saturday, September 14th at Banner House at T-Bar M. That's at 6060 Dilbeck Lane in Dallas, 75240. The exhibition begins at 3 p.m. with the doors opening up at 2 p.m. Before I throw it to our guys here on the panel, how excited for you for your 6th annual Foundation Tennis Classic this weekend?
Well, it hasn't been that annual. There's been a few breaks here and there, and obviously we didn't do it last year with Hall of Fame and the Basketball World Cup I had to attend. So We haven't done it in 2 years, so we're excited to bring it back. It's a new venue. We moved it from SMU to my home turf, to T-Bar, obviously, where we are members and where the kids play almost every day. So basically, that's my house. And so we're excited. We have a good crew with it. The setup is a little bit different this year with just one show court. So we're gonna have some rotating guys come and play some doubles and singles. So I think it's gonna be a fun event for families and everybody.
One bit of breaking news that you shared yesterday is that one of the guys joining the tournament this year is the newest Mav, Klay Thompson. What can you tell us about Klay's tennis game? It's something that Stein doesn't even know.
Actually, I don't know. We'll see when we get to Saturday. But he did say, I asked him first. I got his number a few weeks ago, obviously, and I asked him or welcomed him to town, and we talked basketball a little bit, and then I invited him to the event. And he said, yeah, I'll come by for sure. And I thought he was just going to stop by. And I actually said, wait, you actually want to play tennis? And he's like, count me in. So he was pretty confident about his tennis game. I've never seen him play online or anywhere. So we'll just have to wait and see what his skill level is. But it's awesome for him to obviously support and, to come out and be a part of the event. So we're very appreciative.
Well, the tennis scouting point we were really interested in is Mark Stein's. We hear that maybe you guys have played a few times. What was he like on the court?
So Mark had some decent strokes. You can tell he played growing up, but his conditioning wasn't where it should have been. So the last time we played, it was a little warm outside, and his whole head was red and this big, and I think some people that play with us were a little worried. And so that might have been the last time that Mark Stein has been on the tennis court. So I think that was his farewell.
I remember that one. That was not good. That was
It was
scary.
a little warm, and you were a little overheated, and you didn't have your cold Cokes, so it was not good.
What did I don't know if you saw this, but Klay has been like wearing your jersey around. Have you seen that picture? And like he seems to just be a massive fan of 41. How does that feel to
That's so sweet. I mean, obviously I got to know him. I talked to him a little bit during my last All-Star game. And during my last season when we played him here, we talked a little bit. So he's just a really nice, chill guy. And just loves the vibe and just loves to hang out. And so I feel like we have a good relationship, obviously mutual respect for each other, as careers. And so he's just super easy to get along with and talk hoops and all sorts of stuff with. So I did catch that while I was in the summer in Europe on social media that he had some runs and some practice games with my jersey on. And so super cool, and obviously feel honored that one of the Splash Bros is there and is with the Mavs now, and so we're excited to have him for sure.
Isn't that kind of crazy? This is something we've talked about, but just how far Dallas has come, and just like having someone like Klay in Dallas is it's something that me and Mark are talking about, how it's just so surreal.
Yeah, it's been amazing what now the turnaround from when I was there still at the end, where the tough time we were going through, Luka's first year, and now what the management, obviously with everybody, we're able to build over these 4 or 5 years now that I've been out. Been extremely proud and extremely fired up to see what we were able to build. With building around Luka, obviously, and then adding like a Kyrie, then adding little pieces here and there, and now making a finals run, then adding the Klay Thompson, obviously, it should be a great fit for the team, with him being a great shooter, but obviously a great two-way player as well. And so I think we have a great team going in the next year, and I'm just excited to be a fan really more than anything, and watch and hopefully have a great run at it next year.
How many threes is Klay going to average per game?
I mean,
10, 12,
honestly,
14?
I think he's gonna have a lot of good looks, with Luka being the passer that he is, and Kyrie getting in there and being a great penetrator and could kick it out. I think we're hoping to see, if we see 8 to 10 a game, that will be amazing because I know he's going to make a fair share of them. Of course, the teams are going to get on him, and as soon as he crosses half court, they're going to run to him. But obviously Luka and Kyrie are some of the best guards in the business, so I'm sure we're going to find a lot of shots for him.
Dirk, I wanted to ask you, with Luka coming off of his first NBA Finals appearance, how would you advise him about not just the approach this offseason, but the mindset and mentality going into the next year? You won your MVP the following season after the 06 Finals. How would you advise Luka on that approach going into this upcoming year?
Well, just keep doing what he's doing, honestly. And it's do your game, play your game. I know it wasn't the ending that you were hoping for, but you know what? You're just getting started. You're 25 years old. It's good sometimes to get a little disappointment, to try again, to motivate you and push you to work harder and become even a better player if that's even possible. So just honestly keep doing what he's doing. And I mean, he's an incredible player. He's playing at the highest level. He's the MVP type caliber every year. And so just, staying healthy, take care of your body. It's going to be another long year. So he knows that. I think after the Olympic qualifier, he's took a bunch of time off now to get away a little bit and see his family, to now obviously ramp up his workload and be ready for camp and then for a long season.
We should have got Stein on the same routine back in the day, prepping for those tennis games.
For his tennis game.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I have a very simple question for you. How much fun is it to watch Kyrie Irving play basketball?
Yeah, I mean, he's incredible. The best ball handler finisher that we've seen in this league. And I know there's been some incredible guards, but he's got to be up there with the best of them. Still in awe sometimes of just his crossing, his behind him, how quick he dribbles, how quick he changes directions. Then once he got you on his shoulder, how strong he is, how he can drive you back. And then he can stop on a dime and go up. If he gets all the way to the rim, how nifty he is around the rim. It's just the whole package he has on the offensive end is just incredible to watch. So, how lucky are we to get to watch Luka, who's a magician with the ball, and then watch Kyrie when Luka takes a break. That's incredible. A duo, and they really showed it obviously last season, and hopefully something to build on for this year.
Two quick topics to throw at you. You were just in Slovenia at the Goran Dragic retirement weekend. So you got to hang out with Luka. Tell us what some of those conversations were like when you guys were huddling and surely talking about the season ahead, but also what the people probably don't know. You played tennis with Nash every day, who is he's become disgustingly good at tennis. People who go to this event, who go to T-Bar M this weekend, will see it is criminal how good Nash has gotten at tennis just in the last 5 years. He plays every day. So give us the Luka scouting report and the Nash scouting report.
Yeah, well, Nash is, as you said, incredible. He really started in retirement. So he started when he was 40 years old, and to where he is now, 10 years later. You think he played all his life, and obviously he's got the talent, but he's got the touch, he's got the hands for it, and he just looks like he's been a player for 30, 40 years, and so incredible. I think honestly, he's that annoying guy that's good at anything that he would have touched. I think he could have been a soccer pro for sure if he would have put all his eggs in that basket. And looking at his tennis game now, if he started at age 10, he would have had a good chance there. So he's that guy that's just so good at everything, and it's super annoying. So he's addicted. He plays every day, and even when we were in Slovenia, he dragged us out of bed every morning to play for 2 hours. So he's a freak. He's a freak, and he's excited, obviously, to come this weekend and play. And Luka, yeah, we spent some time with him. I was sitting next to him at that dinner for Goran's Foundation, actually that Friday night, the dinner before the Saturday game. It was fun, just just talking life, talking summer travels, talking about his baby, and just not really that much hoops. So yeah, I think, but he loves obviously where the team is at and the chances for next year. But mostly we're just catching up. I hadn't seen him since he left from the finals, obviously. So just been catching up a little bit, and seems to feel good and look forward to a new season.
It's the Dirk Nowitzki Foundation Tennis Classic presented by Chime this upcoming weekend, Saturday, September 14th at Banner House at T-Bar M at 6060 Dilbeck Lane in Dallas, Texas. The exhibition begins at 3 p.m. with the doors opening at 2 p.m. Tickets can be purchased at www.universe.com. Our guy Mark Stein's been tweeting it out throughout the course of the week as well. Tickets are $65. Some of the participants include obviously Dirk, Klay Thompson, JJ Barea, his good friend Steve Nash as well. Who are you most looking forward to seeing this weekend as you get ready for this tournament this weekend?
Well, a few people. We've never had a female pro, so we're excited about Coco Vandeweghe, who was obviously top 20 in the world. I think she's playing. She just retired last year, so she's going to play a solid ball. I think it's got to be Klay up there because we all don't know what his skill level is. So that'll be funny, and we're looking forward for that. And Dr. Phil is going to be awesome. So I've met Dr. Phil. He moved here back to Dallas. He obviously started his own network here now, and so we've been connecting a few times over the last couple of years and played some tennis. He loves tennis. He can play a little bit himself, so we're excited to have him out. So it's a good crew again, and obviously thankful to all the people who supported and the players and fans that come out. So it'll be a fun event for sure.
Dirk, not a question, but just wanted to say thank you for passing along the message at Zach Crane's memorial. He was a awesome person, a good friend of mine, and it really resonated and meant a lot to everybody who was there. So thanks again for that.
Thank you. Yeah. Heartbreaking. Obviously, I heard the news. Actually, I saw the news first on X, and then I reached out obviously to Scott and Mark, and they confirmed. So very, very sad. And he was a very, very talented writer and just a good human, a good person. So sorry I missed the memorial. I was still in Europe, but would have loved to have been there. So rest in peace.
Dirk, before we let you go, anything that you want to say to Mavericks fans, the MFFLs who have been in the chat, have been loving our conversation with you? Anything that you'd like to say for the Mavs fans before we let you go here today?
Yeah, Mavs fans, we're looking hopefully for a great season. I mean, we should be excited. Lively, I'm sure, improved from last year. We added some good pieces. Love the Marshall kid and his athleticism. Obviously, we adding Klay as a splash bro to the squad. So I think we have plenty to look forward to and a great season. And thanks for all your support as always.
It is the Dirk Nowitzki Foundation Tennis Classic presented by Chime again on Saturday, September 14th at Banner House at T-Bar M, 6060 Dilbeck Lane in Dallas, Texas. The exhibition begins at 3 p.m. with doors opening at 2 o'clock. Tickets are $65. It can be purchased at universe.com. Dirk, thank you so much for the time today. We really appreciate you hanging out with us here on DLLS Mavs, man. Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck with the whole DLLS thing, okay?
Appreciate that.
You got home court advantage. No excuses. No excuses.
Never. I don't need any. But I probably move like you these days. But
not even that good. I think.
Appreciate you, Dirk.
Have fun. Have a great weekend.
All the best. Thanks, man.
There he goes, the GOAT, Dirk Nowitzki, good enough to join us here on DLLS Mavs. Well, coming up, we'll react to Dirk's interview, obviously, before we end our show today. But before we get there, Bobby, talk to me a little bit about becoming a diehard here at DLLS Sports.
Becoming a diehard is something that you should do. If you haven't already, you should do it as soon as possible. You can do that by going to alldlls.com/diehard. And it's cost less than $7 a month to gain full access to our website, where you can read all of Tim's writing whenever he does right.
And Robert's.
And Robert Carella's writing.
Me too. Every now and then.
That's
Kevin.
right. But
Every
yeah,
now
shout out
and
to
then.
Ari, shout out Ryan, shout out Dave, shout out David. So we got a Dave and a David. Shout out John, Jason, all signed up to become
Interesting.
diehards.
No one named Dirk.
Maybe Dirk must be
Interesting.
using a pseudonym. All
Okay.
right, he must be
No,
using
that's
an
fair.
alias to sign up to our site. But it's less than $7 a month. You get merch discounts. You get all the written content. You can join the Discord, talk with us and all the other hosts from all the other shows within the network and all the other diehards as well. Learn stuff about music. Learn stuff about cooking. Learn stuff about reality TV. You can chat with Kat about the most recent episode of what show does she watch? Love is Blind, I think, is a big. Cat's
Love
big
is
on Love
Blind,
is
Love
Blind. I'm
Island.
pretty sure.
Love
Maybe
Island.
Love Island. I'm not. The only way to find out is to join the Discord right now. When you do, you get a free shirt promo code to choose from any one of our more than 35 shirts, with more surely on the way soon. So be sure you do that. And then also, once again, just want to say thank you, Dirk.
Yes.
You dang living legend. Do what Kevin said. Go to Stein's Twitter. Go to Dirk's Twitter. It's all over Instagram, all over the internet. Just Google the Dirk Nowitzki Tennis Classic. You'll be able to pick up some tickets and go. It's really, really fun. If you haven't been before, it's great. This year, it's also indoors as well, so you don't even got to worry if it's hot
Yeah.
outside or rainy, whatever. It's all good.
Not just is it indoors, because they've switched to this show court approach. You know, when you've gone to it in the past, there was stuff happening on all the different courts and you kind of had to move around. Now they're doing it so, as I understand it, I think you really only have to focus on that one main court and see all. And like I said, by NBA terms, Nash would have been deemed unathletic. To me, I think he's the best athlete I've ever covered, because the way Dirk said it, the guy can play anything. I remember when Dirk first took over the Mike Modano charity baseball game, and Nash played second base, and he looked like he's been turning double plays his whole life.
Steve Nash,
Can he play
natural.
guitar?
Yeah, he can do anything.
Yeah.
Dwight Powell once won the MVP of the Dirk Nowitzki charity baseball game, the Heroes Classic.
The historic facts there.
You really are his personal
I'm a big
publicist.
fan. But yeah, like Patrick says in the chat, it's the DN Foundation. So go ahead and follow them on Instagram and Twitter, the DN Foundation. It's short for Dirk Nowitzki Foundation, in case you couldn't piece it together. They have all the links, all the information you need. So thank you again to Dirk. And definitely, if you're in Dallas this weekend, go check it out.
Appreciate you, Bobby. About 10 minutes left in our show before we get out of here again today. Appreciate again Dirk Nowitzki for joining us here on DLLS Mavs. Make sure you like and hit that subscribe button here for DLLS Sports, as we are always here for you on DLLS Mavs. Fascinating conversation with Dirk. Good to see him as well. Looks like he's excited about his tournament this weekend. Takeaways from what you heard from Dirk just now.
He was glowing.
What a guy.
Yeah. What a great guy.
A lot of folks lining up the chat.
You
as
guys
well.
were glowing too.
No, I mean, it
was
is
exciting for me.
It's an icon. It's a legend. He's a champion. But more importantly, one of my lasting memories about Dirk is that he is a humble superstar. The word that always comes to mind every time I see him speak, every time I see him, he's a humble individual who wants to do things not just for his community, but for folks around the world as well. Obviously, we know what kind of player that he was, but he's a better human being than he is a player. And it's just amazing to see, even as his career's gone on, post-career, I should say, he continues to have that kind of impact.
Yeah, that's a high bar to clear.
He's all right. He's all right.
Besides, like, don't gas him up too much. Don't gas him up too much. But you've spent a lot of time with Dirk over the years. What's the one lasting thing about him, not just as a player, but as a person, that you continue to
How many times? Like I said, I can't knock this wood. And like, as in our jobs, and Tim knows this, because this is like, you to get the trust where these guys give you access to tell their stories. Sure. Like, we can't write the stories without the access. And like, a lot of people in our profession will say, like, I started in the back half of the 93-94 season. The generation that was before me, they really had the glory days before teams started chartering, when beat writers could literally, on a back-to-back would wake up the next morning, fly with these guys. So if you're covering the Celtics or the Lakers, you're flying with Magic and Bird. Okay, I didn't have that, but again, both Nowitzki and Nash, the way those two have let me, like, cover their careers from such close range. I mean, I'm great. There's no words I can say. Like, I'm so grateful. And I just think back going to Germany the first time, and like. It was a lot. The Mavs draft Nowitzki. They talk him in. He was initially going to play in Europe for a year. They talked him into committing to the team, but then the lockout comes. He was actually rooting for the lockout to last the whole year so he could just stay with his German club team, play. That his German club team had just got promoted. He hadn't even played in the first division yet. So I was on one of my soccer trips, a September soccer trip to England, convinced the morning news, send me to Germany, and I basically got to spend a weekend in Würzburg before he had really ever been here. So, like, again, at first, media, they were very skeptical. His parents didn't want to let me come in the house. But I said, I came all this way. I have to speak to your parents. And just like from that moment, it just, again, I will keep knocking on the wood. I am so lucky. We could do a whole show on that.
And Bobby, for you, having come from working for the organization, you have obviously studied Dirk's game. You've obviously watched his game. What's the lasting memory for you when it comes to Dirk, and not just his career winning championships, but also him as a person as well?
Man, so before the Mavs moved to right across the highway from the arena, they were in this little tiny building in Deep Ellum called the Pavilion, and the digital team's collection of desks, I don't know, it was a very haphazardly put together office, but we were stuck in the back corner, not too far from where a woman named Lisa Tyner sat. Okay, Lisa Tyner for a long time at the Mavs was accountant by title, but everything by practice.
Yeah.
Lisa Tyner made the Mavs tick, right? And Lisa Tyner kind of became like Dirk's adopted aunt or Dirk's adopted mother in Dallas. And there was an empty cube right next to Lisa's where all of Dirk's fan mail would come from, or piles. Literally like USPS buckets, like 3 or 4 of those, full overflowing with mail on the floor. And once a week or twice a week, Dirk would come in. There's no hootenanny, there's no hullabaloo whenever he walks in the office. He just goes right to that cube, sits down, opens, reads, and responds to every single piece of fan mail that came through there.
Wow.
In the 3 years that I was working there, 4 years that I was working there, like you don't even know he's there. You just get up to go get a Coke from the fridge or something. You're like, oh, Dirk's here. And he's about 10% of the way done, and they got a game in 4 hours. But like that's just what he did.
You
That's
tap
what he
him on
did.
the shoulder. Hey, babe, gonna grab a Coke? You want one?
No, never offered him a soda. No,
No.
but it's like, he really, all the way down to, and obviously to an athlete who has millions of fans, each piece of fan mail might not matter, but to the fan that sends the one piece of fan mail, that's their whole world.
Sure.
And Dirk really, I think, like had that perspective and had that understanding and embraced the role, even if he maybe didn't always want it, embraced the role of being the torchbearer for the franchise, the face of the Mavs, the face of Dallas sports, one of the faces of the NBA.
And
he's a pretty humble dude. He doesn't want to do that stuff, but like he understands why it's so important and how much of an impact he can make in people's lives by doing it.
And there's just infinite stories like this. I mean, there's dozens and dozens out there. One that I've told before, but I always like telling. I was covering Game 7 of the 2014 first round series against the Spurs, and it went 7, and Dallas loses in 7. But they had flown out to San Antonio for Game 1 and 2, and then they had gotten back for Game 5, and then Game 7 happens, and it's just a brutal, heartbreaking loss. And Dirk is the only person to do media other than the head coach Carlisle, and so he's finally ready, and he kind of walks out of the locker. He's about to go all the way to the press conference room, and he kind of stops and turns back around and identifies these 2 locker room Antonio people he had probably interacted.
They don't travel. They don't travel with the team.
Yeah, but they don't travel. These are native San Antonio people, and he identifies them by name and mentions something about like good luck with school this summer. Like clearly they had a conversation. Like Dirk had humanized these people who are just there to grab his towels and help him out with stuff like this. And Dirk had actual it's just obvious he had actually talked to these guys. And even though he had another season had just ended in a dismal, frustrating fashion, he still had the presence of mind to kind of turn around and leave that parting memory, with those 2, kids, which.
And it was with ball kids in every city too, going through his pregame warm-up on the road. He's fist bumping them, talking with them before and after his workout. Like every single person that he would come across in the flow of doing his professional duty, he would make an effort to get to know.
I mean, he came on the show with us dorks.
Yeah, well,
So clearly he has a high.
dorks.
Yeah.
You and me. You and me.
Fair. Fair.
The self-deprecation. You don't have to be so hard on yourselves. You guys are great. Dirk was obviously fantastic. The chat obviously loving the conversation as well. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. By the way, special shout out to Scott Tomlin. Scott, we see you. Love you, man. Appreciate you. Always appreciate the support as well.
Scooter.
Yeah, love Scooter, man.
Shout out
So
Scooter.
definitely shout out to Scott Tomlin.
In
man.
the YouTube comments, what's your favorite Dirk memory?
Ooh, I
I'd like
love
to go
that.
back in like 12 hours and read all this stuff. So let us
Yeah,
know
not in the
below.
chat, in the
like not in the
comments.
chat, in the comments on
Yeah,
the
in the
video.
comments.
Comment,
Yes.
comment with your favorite Dirk memory. Off court, on court. Maybe he responded to something you sent. Maybe it's just watching him hit the lefty layup to cap off the Game 2 comeback. Like whatever it is, I would love to know.
If you sent him fan mail and he replied to you,
Right, yes, please.
comment.
Yes, comment about the fans
What's
that
your
he
favorite
responded
Dirk?
to, yes.
Mark, is there one like seminal Dirk moment that is like you can share and is not too whatever private or
Well,
anything?
just the climb to the title. There was a ton of success, but again, just dagger after dagger in the playoffs. So like when he made Holger cry because they were going to win, like that was something because Holger had never betrayed that kind of emotion. And again, my intro to Holger was on that first trip to Würzburg. I didn't know anything about German geography. They had a home game on a Friday night, or maybe it was a Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. They had a home game at night. That was the easy one for me to attend. The next game was in a city called Hagen, 3 hours away. I didn't know that. I didn't have any way to get to Hagen, so I rode 3 hours each way on the Autobahn with Professor Geschwindner.
With Holger.
So that was my
Wow.
intro to Holger in 1998.
on the Autobahn. Okay.
And then so to see him
Was he a fast driver?
He was.
I
He was.
kind of suspected as much.
So to see him then 12, 13 years later reduced to tears because 41 was going to hoist his championship, that was, I mean, it's a cliche one, but an obvious one.
Loyalty never fades away. Appreciate Dirk Nowitzki for joining us here on DLLS Mavs. Again, thank you so much for joining us here on our episode today. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports on YouTube. And you can come back with us tomorrow. We'll be back at noon
how
tomorrow
old are you guys?
here on DLLS Mavs. For Mark Stein, Bobby Corella, Tim Cato, I'm Kevin Gray. We are DLLS Mavs. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 12. Y'all have a
Love
good
you,
day.
Dirk. Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.